Greetings comic lovers and welcome back to Casually Comics, the channel where we chat all things comics, from reviews of comics new and old to history to anecdotes, really wherever our whims take us. Sometimes while researching you discover something beautiful. My life is better now, for I've discovered the Eraser, a villain among villains. He only has one proper story, and that is the true crime. That is, of course, at the time of this recording. Hopefully in my dreams in the future he's much used. I will share him with you and you will come to love him. Or maybe not, I don't know. You'll get a chuckle at least, probably. The Eraser, real name Lennie Fiasco. Oh yes, soak it up. Let the cheese clog your arteries. Lennie came onto my radar while I was researching the Scarecrow. I did a video taking a look at the 24-year hiatus of Jonathan Crane, who returned in Batman issue 189. Well, when I went to get my copy, I accidentally typed in Batman 188. The best mistake. Oh wait, there are no mistakes. It was fate. Issue 188 boasted this ridiculous cover. Whoosh! Here comes the rubber-headed villain, the Eraser, who tried to rub out Batman. Yes, an unintentional double entendre based on changing slang or a different region. Nice, Comics Code approved. There's the Eraser going across the dynamic duo like a spring, looking like he has the head of an actual eraser and a pencil as feet. And there's also a story about the 10 best dressed corpses in Gotham. Just take all my money. So we're gonna see why the Eraser tried to rub them out. Why yes, I am 12. But before we get started, I'm Sasha, and if you're enjoying this content, you know what to do. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Join us in this comic book journey. This issue comes to us from 1966, and it's written by John Broome, with art by Sheldon Moldoff. 1966 places it in the era where there would begin to be crossover influence with the just beginning TV series. But editor Julius Schwartz was in communication with the showrunners, which is why you end up with stuff like the coordinated launch of Batgirl. They have a very cyclical relationship. We've done a video on that Batgirl launch, card and link. Let us dive in and enjoy. Batman and Robin are hurled into combat with the human Eraser, a fantastic villain who almost brings justice to a standstill with a gimmick we dare not reveal. Oh boy, with a name like the Eraser, how will we ever guess what it is? The Eraser who tried to rub out Batman. This picture is beautiful. The Eraser running forward like Shaggy, the Eraser headpiece, the 2B pencil themed suit, and as Batman says, his boot tips are pencil point sharp. Cause nothing can break a pencil tip, they're nigh invulnerable, and it only gets better. We open on Bruce and Dick walking down the street, where Robin spots an attractive model selling erasers. That's right, bringing the sex appeal to school supplies. Thank you, Batman 188. It's a huge novelty eraser, but I can't properly enjoy just how ridiculous everything is because Robin is in full creep mode. What are you staring at as if I didn't wish I was old enough to get her phone number? Ew. Also, not everything needs a sexy model. They've done studies where they've noticed that sex doesn't actually sell, it just catches attention. So it doesn't translate into sales unless it's something the person was already interested in. So it can get people talking and people will notice, but it doesn't necessarily translate into now we're millionaires because sexy eraser sales are through the roof. It's not quite the holy grail of advertising in the way that people think it is. The other thing with advertising too is that if you do it often enough or the same thing over and over again, people start to tune it out. Sexy eraser model, what a job description. But there's no time for that. For seeing this giant novelty eraser has pushed Bruce into a totally not contrived flashback where he remembers a college classmate, Lennie Fiasco, who was always having to erase his mistakes off a chalkboard. I love Gotham. Anything can turn you into a villain. Truly it is a land of opportunity. Lennie was also mocked for getting answers wrong in front of the whole class by the professor, but that does not really factor into his descent into villainy. No, it's because Bruce stole his girl for the winter carnival. Accidentally. Bruce didn't know he was stealing his girl. She wasn't really his girl. Look, Lennie even has a single manly tear. I haven't seen Lennie since he flunked out of college, but I'm always reminded of him when I see erasers, his core characteristic. Poor Lennie, what a thing to be known for. I'm the eraser guy. Bruce in this issue cannot walk down the street without women throwing themselves at him. They're so thirsty, they need autographs. Which stood out to me not because of the fangirl first, but because Robin turns to break the fourth wall slightly by looking at you and seemingly addressing his comments to you, the reader and audience. They're just quips about how he wishes that women would flock to him like that. No thank you. Less of that and more erasing, please. The hotline has been blazing since you were out, sir. I've had to put on asbestos gloves to pick it up. That was an appalling British accent even by my standards. Oof, sorry Alfred, much love. I'm not sure what struck me more, the fact that the phone was physically hot or the fact that Alfred has asbestos gloves, and I really want him to throw them out. Commissioner Gordon called because there was a bank robbery that's been committed, but there are no clues. It's almost as if they've been erased. Batman can't find any even with his bat micro lens, so he says he needs to go outside, and then he's mobbed by groupies who want him to sign their Batman action figures. It doesn't matter if it's Bruce Wayne or Batman, I'm always left out in the cold. I'm a mind reader, I just heard what you thought there. Feel better, Robin. Are we sure this isn't a poison ivy issue where pheromones just been released across the city and it just coincidentally happens to have the eraser in it? But none of that matters because suddenly a life-size model of Batman falls out the window onto the street. Batman takes that to mean that there's trouble up above. They're just at a toy factory now. Why? I don't know. They left the bank, drove, now they're at a toy factory. They stopped and got out. I guess maybe they saw the crowd of people waiting for autographs on their Bat figures. Upstairs where they sell Batman merch for charity, some goons are stealing the money, and when Batman and Robin burst in, they hear the gang lament that they should have hired the eraser. Insert your hiring Arnold Schwarzenegger's eraser jokes here. They find a copy of The Secret Underground, which is kind of like an underground pamphlet, flyer, magazine thing. They have to decode it. Look at the Gotham rogues having their own magazines and networks. What a nice community. The eraser has an ad in The Secret Underground. Don't take chances. Let the eraser erase every clue from your crimes. Only 20% of job before taxes. Write to box 19611. I see you, eraser. I too have a P.O Box. Also, the eraser worries about his taxes. He's gonna calculate that? Nice. I mean, only 20% for a complete clue erasure. It's not bad. Batman and Robin decide to lure him out by staging a crime. Bruce is excited because he's gonna disguise himself as an organ grinder. Robin is less excited because he has to be the monkey. But before any of that can happen, we have this exchange. Whoa, what a scent. No wonder the girls fall for you. It makes them dizzy. Just them, Robin. Comics code approved. I've been using it since my college days. You can try it out when you reach that stage, chum. He didn't say chum, but I just felt like adding it. Now I'm imagining it's just something completely ordinary, like Old Spice. Maybe based on how people are acting, it's Axe, or how people think Axe should work, how they wish it worked. So the fake crime commences. Bruce filled the vault he's robbing with his own money, and enter the eraser. The eraser expected you here after the job was finished. A good eraser removes clues as they're being made. I mean, that's not a terrible philosophy actually, because then you'd also be on hand and you hopefully wouldn't miss things because you'd see it all unfold. Then you could also cover your tracks too and you save on timing, and yeah, you know what? I like it. The eraser has a special compound which removes everything, even the almost invisible impressions made by your souls. So for those who are wondering, yes, it is a full headpiece. It is a giant functioning eraser. It is fully functional. Mwah. Haters gonna hate or laugh, but the man lives in Gotham. Think about it. Two-Face is running around with a two-tone suit and cars. The Riddler is wearing a jumpsuit with question marks on it. The eraser's just trying to fit in and advertise his brand. The top-tier villains in Gotham have flair and style. How could he grow his street cred if he just turns up in a tactical black turtleneck and some covert black pants? He can't. Also insert your David Lynch Eraserhead inspiration jokes here. But guess what? The eraser saw through Bruce's disguise because for days, months, years I sat near you sniffing that special shaving cream. You're still using it. I wonder what it's like for Bruce to go somewhere and not be hit on compulsively. Is it nice? Does he miss it? Does he just not know what that's like at all because it never happens? You're Bruce Wayne, all right. The guy all girls tumbled for. Whoa, 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 oh, I guess we're using tumbled in a different connotation. Who are we kidding? I'm sure they tumbled both ways. Including the only girl I ever wanted, Celia Smith, the Ice Queen. Did everyone just call her that all the time? That's awesome. Celia Smith, the Ice Queen. Pivot away from him recognizing him by scent. I'll go, but I'm gonna go looking over my shoulder, skeptically. Bruce Wayne / the eraser. The ship is born. Bruce then pulls the whole, Lenny, no, you don't need to be a criminal. There's still time. The fic is writing itself. Let me try to help you, Lenny, before you get hopelessly involved in crime. I mean, he's offering a discount. He's in the criminal magazine. He's got a P.O Box. I'm pretty sure it's too late. The eraser captures Bruce and puts him to sleep with gas he keeps in his pencil tip style shoes. When I told my husband about this issue and I got to this point, well, because I had to tell somebody about it, he asked me if the gas erased people's memories, and then we both decided that that was a missed opportunity. Anyway, the eraser is planning to freeze Bruce and put him inside of this little mold that he has made for him, and he's got other molds made so he can recreate the Winter Carnival Day because it's just been bothering him that much. He never got over it, just like he never forgot what Bruce smelled like. But Bruce escapes because he's Batman, and then Robin shows up and pulls the whole, I had a tracker on Bruce and that's why I'm here, don't think any harder about it. But here's the thing, the eraser identified Bruce by his irresistible man musk, so why would he not be able to do the same thing with Batman? Oh, I get it. The answer is
stop asking questions.
Da 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 tum da 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 tum. It's music to put them on ice by. It hurts, but I can't stop. No pain, no gain. After they put Lenny in prison, they give him the novelty eraser being sold from the beginning of this issue. What will the model lean on now? Now she's gonna have to sell something like a giant pencil sharpener, or maybe they'll upgrade her to whiteout. She'll get to lean on a giant ball of whiteout. Keep it on brand. I get the message. It's better to be a rubber than a robber. 10 out of 10. Quality content. This was the Eraser's only appearance pre-Crisis. That's Crisis on Infinite Earths 1985. And when he appears post-Crisis, it's either as a visual gag or background character, sometimes both. He has one panel in Ambush Bug issue 4 from 2008, where for some reason he's drawn with little pencil head hands, which is inaccurate and would not help his chosen career as an eraser of clues, but it's a funny image. He also has a panel in Batman 682 during the Batman R.I.P. storyline. This is where they're trying to drive Batman insane and break his mind. He appears in the panel with a group of villains during one of the memories. This is a Grant Morrison comic, and Grant Morrison is known for acknowledging things from the Silver Age, sometimes updating them and using them in different ways, oftentimes more edgy, or just showing that he knows that they exist. Sometimes these updates really work, and sometimes they don't. And sometimes you're just left asking, but why though? Sadly, the Eraser is just there, because he could really work in the modern era. More on that in a minute. He also is in the background of Neil Gaiman's Whatever Happened to the Caped Crusader. Look, that's him. They thought I wouldn't see him, but I did. Some people may also know him from the Lego Batman movie, where they highlighted some of the sillier villains. I was about to say some of the allegedly sillier villains, but no, yeah, they were sillier, even if I love some of them. This story is Silver Age madness at every level, and I loved it. It's so ridiculous, it just made me smile. The hordes of Bruce and Batman fans demanding autographs, the sexy woman modeling erasers, the cologne so amazing it sticks with you for years, even though that's actually pretty realistic. Scent can be really heavily tied to memory. And then of course, the eraser himself. Now, this presentation is ever so nonsensical, but, and it's a big but, this character is a good idea. The idea of a criminal who specifically helps other criminals clean up their crimes is a good one. He's gonna be there working for a percentage. It's interesting. And if you added on to that he was specifically working with the criminal elite of Gotham, like the top tier villains, you could do some cool stories. Like, what secrets would he hear or be in on, especially if he's showing up mid-crime? How would he use that knowledge to his advantage? Or would he? Or would he be blackmailed by other people? Would he try to steal some things for himself, or perhaps purposely start leaving clues to misdirect people, making it seem like crimes were committed by people that they weren't? Could you pay him for that? Would that be another service that he offered? Would he be an ally to villains? Would he kind of work in a gray area? Minus Celia Smith, the Ice Queen, I actually like that he had that kind of loose tie to Bruce Wayne. The idea of someone kind of circling on the periphery of his memories, someone singled out as a failure and unsuccessfully mocked for his mistakes, becoming a person who ensures that there are none ever, you could do some things with that. The costume, well, I don't hate the costume, but I'm extra as heck. It could probably stand with a revamp, but again, in the context of Batman villains, both past and present, it makes sense. It's not that far out there. It's just, well, I mean, the pencil theme. It's hard to get past the pencil theme. I feel like he got dismissed a bit because of how silly he looks. And also because, in all fairness, this story is pretty asinine, even though I adore it. But you could repurpose this character and do some really interesting, nuanced things with him. You could make him one of those secret power players. Someone that people underestimate, but actually has all of this information and knowledge they can use to their advantage, should they so choose. So yeah, that's my pitch for why they should bring back the Eraser. Do it, DC. Maybe they have. Time of recording. I can dream. What do you think of my ideas for the Eraser? How would you redo his costume, or would you leave it alone? What was going on with Robin this issue? Who's the villain that you love that you think deserves more love? Tell me things down below. While you're down there, please do all the YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so that you never miss a vid. Thanks so much for taking this time of your day spent discussing comics with me. I always appreciate it, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.